Yes.
I wanted to ask you guys something here as we head into a week of volatility that Adam Silver's career as the progressive leader of men, commissioner for the new age, golden child, as he and his league have empowered in the middle of a political fight a largely black league of activists. And now, because they've had that power and it has done a lot of good, one of the members of the NBA, Kyrie Irving, looks to be in jeopardy of possibly ending his career here. Sort of a reverse Kaepernick situation where he might not be able to play again. A general manager said this anonymously. I haven't seen anyone quoted by name, but anonymously, that Kyrie Irving might be done as a basketball player. I don't know what happened, and I'd like to talk to Jamel Hill about this later in the show. I don't know the particulars. I'd be interested to find the particular call that reached Kyrie that went from that flippant press conference where he was being evasive and it seemed like he was double down on anti-Semitism, how it went to Instagram apology that evening. Was it Nike? Was it the Nets? What got his attention that went from him being flippant in a press conference at a time, like a lot of athletes, Stugotz, would have been very careful with that press conference or not bothered to have it, versus handling it that way on behalf of brand. Nike pulls away from Kyrie Irving, and now he's got a commissioners meeting here where the commissioner, as the Nets, suspend him for 5 games and make him go through a 6-step process that he already showed you through the flippant controversy is cosmetics. Like maybe he'll do it to save his job. Maybe he'll do it to save his money in his Nike contract. But he showed you in the press conference how he feels about this. I don't think he learned his lesson in 12 hours. There was a consequence there that reached him. Was it the 5 games?
I think it's a combination of all those things. It's the commissioner coming down saying, I'm going to meet with Kyrie. It's the Nets suspending him 5 games. It's Nike backing out of a new shoe deal that they're about to release a new shoe, and then they say, nope, we're not going to do it now.
But there was a call, is what I'm saying.
But Dan,
those marketing people were around Kyrie before that, is what I'm saying. What got his attention specifically?
Seeing it all slip away, perhaps?
Okay, but Stugotz, we were there already when he got in front of the cameras. Like, he's watching what's happening with Kanye West. He was there when he didn't get
vaccinated.
Like, he's done this already. Something happened, and I'd like to know what it was. What was the call that reached him? What was the consequence that reached him?
Well, the suspension is what immediately preceded the Instagram apology.
I don't think he's afraid of those. Like, he sat out an entire season, a 5-game suspension without money. Like, maybe, I don't know. I don't mean to be striding as if I know. I am curious, though. That's a real big tone change in 12 hours from I'm not sorry at all to, oh, I'm really sorry. And I had my chance in front of the cameras during a delicate time. He surrounded my marketing people. This man is an economy. Those shoes are valuable. They are popular.
Yeah, I think it's Nike. I think the Nike announcement I know came after the apology, but the news getting to Kyrie probably preceded that by a fair amount, and him losing.
Like that sneaker was ready to go to market. Like the amount of money they spent, and they're like, nope, we're not going to release it.
Pausing their agreement. Yeah. That is a huge. He's a wildly popular sneaker.
Mike, this
designer.
Is the thing that as we talk about these owners, 80 years old, and they have all the money in the world, and will they welcome Bezos with ego? One of the most fascinating things of the last 15 years in basketball, longer than that, if you think about the icon Michael Jordan has become, where he's allowed in one of the rooms where Jay-Z tries to now get in behind Bezos, Michael Jordan. The AAUization of basketball that combines with the sneaker industry to make these guys only respect the sneaker employer. I don't know what happened here, but what I thought happened is, he doesn't care what the owner says by tweet. He doesn't care what the league says, the commissioner says, the team says, his teammates say. But Nike got his attention because these guys are sneaker salesmen, and they are sneaker salesmen first.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Kyrie never said anything. A statement was released on his behalf. Like, we never actually heard him say anything. We're giving him the benefit of a doubt, which I don't know that he deserves, that he actually changed his opinion on these things, which he hasn't said publicly. It's just a released printed statement.
I don't think
anyone could have put that out.
But it strains all believability that he would have changed his opinion on these things. Yes, you're absolutely right.
He didn't change his opinion, Dan. The apology was hollow. It was late. He apologized because he had to apologize.
But he had to apologize 12 hours earlier, and he doubled down. Like, explain to me.
Yeah, but at that time, he didn't know Nike was going to do what they did. He didn't know that the NBA was coming after him. He didn't know that Adam Silver was going to arrange a meeting with him. He didn't know these things at that time.
All the consequences came after he failed on his apology, after he spoke to the media, and he quadrupled down, and he was more strident, and he seemed further from an apology than he did entering it. All the consequences stemmed from that shit show that happened there. And to Billy's point, which I think is an excellent one, Adam Silver is about to find out today when they meet to see exactly how real that contrition is.
And the reason that I think it's important to discuss some timeline on this is, you remember, Stugotz, Adam Silver. How is the leadership of the NBA going to possibly replace the dictator David Stern, where it felt like the owners worked for him? It wasn't Commissioner Puppet. Those guys feared David Stern. He would mother bleep those owners. He got them in line. He got that club in line. Adam Silver replaces him, and the first act of business is, how will he ever be Stern? Sterling, you're gone. Get out of here. And he becomes instantaneously powerhouse commissioner guy.
The one thing to know about Nike potentially being the source of this is that it was reported by Adrian Wojnarowski and Ramona Shelburne back in May that Nike was unlikely to extend Kyrie Irving past this season anyway, before any of this happened. He apparently called the design of his own shoe, the Kyrie 8, trash, and insisting that, quote, I have nothing to do with the design or marketing, and, quote, Nike plans to release it without my okay. So the relationship there was frosty, and Nike gets a good bit of PR in letting go of someone who they were probably going to let go of anyway. So I'm still not sure that this is sort of the smoking gun here as to why Kyrie Irving all of a sudden started apologizing.
And it might not be. I might have that part of it wrong, as I'm still looking at Steph Curry turning a sneaker company into $1 billion for himself, because I'm telling you, these NBA contracts compared to where the dollars are in the sneakers, as the players have gotten power and stature through the history of this thing, and as sneakers have become these giant commerce centers that don't have salary caps and make Nike something that is bigger than the NBA or on par with the NBA, because Michael Jordan had that relationship that he turned into legitimate empire building. Kyrie Irving is in the game as one of the 5 guys who could move shoes, one of the 10 guys who could move shoes. And I believe, and I understand what you're saying, I might have it wrong in this instance where it's not Nike governed. I'd love to know what the consequences of that are. That these economies that they risk are giant. It's not just their contracts. And so they're beholden as well to the sneaker making kings. And I wonder who got to him. Like, who did what Billy is saying? Who sent out on his behalf, or on the management of his behalf, whatever economic protection that Instagram post was?
I have no idea who has Kyrie Irving's ear. It seems as though he's gotten a lot of bad advice, but the decisions now are jeopardizing whoever might be in his ear, that livelihood too. So maybe that's the realization that's needed here. And I assume what this anonymous league source says, that questions whether or not Kyrie's career might be over, is he's shown with Nike, he's shown with the Brooklyn Nets, shown with the NBA. It's just not somebody you want to partner up with in a business sense, because not readily available, not dependable, can go on a diatribe on social media, can be toxic to your work environment. You need to be able to count on somebody if you're paying them millions of dollars.
I have to think that somebody got to Kyrie Irving and said, you coming off as anti-Semitic in Brooklyn, New York, of all places on earth, you stepped into quicksand that will eat you. You have been, you and your career can be canceled because of this.
But who would say that? Like, who has his ear like that?
I don't know.
I imagine it's been in every conversation that he's had since he started doing this.
Again, these conversations, and I'll leave it alone after this, but these conversations were being had before he sat in front of the microphones and did what he did. I was marveling at that from a number of different angles, one of them being, Stugotz, that every athlete I've ever seen walk into that setting is scared.
Terrified. Yes.
Like, why would you not be? Like, you would go and say the right things, whatever those right things are, because you've got people all around you saying, do you understand the consequences of everything that's happening here?